All right, welcome back. DM Geezer Jim, Campaign Cartographer 3, Super Basics. What do you do when it's time to switch your computer? What should you do when you're installing? First and foremost, pay attention to your paths. When you open your first math, pay attention to where that path is so when you set your new maps up, your new files up, you can put them in the directory that CC3 wants you to, CC3 plus wants you to do it. So let me switch over to desktop right quick. I'm going to open, well, I actually have it open. You're seeing this map. It's covered in X's. Every one of those X's is a symbol that Campaign Cartographer 3 cannot find. Number one, those symbols were actually installed back in the day. I put them in the wrong place. They worked fine for the old install. You can have Campaign Cartographer 3 pull art assets out of you have Campaign Cartographer 3 installed on your C drive, on your solid state drive. And you've got a jump drive, a drive F that's got a folder full of PNGs. Technically, CC3 will pull that PNG from the folder that it's sitting on an external drive and add it to your map. And when you're looking at it, when you finish it up and export it out, nothing different. If you unplug that drive, obviously all of those symbols are gone. So you'll get all the little red X's that are appearing kind of like this. If you just install a folder, DD3 objects sorted, all of these are just PNG, are symbols that I've pulled, custom symbols that I've pulled from other sets that I've purchased from DM's Guild, whatever, and pulled them out of their sources and put them in this one folder. So back in the day, what I had done was basically made all of these folders, and here we're going to go into the directory a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. I cut a symbol shortcut. All this is a shortcut into the Pro Fantasy symbol folder. Let me see if I can zoom that in a little bit for you guys so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Hopefully I'm not giving away all the goods on my computer, but you know, I want you guys to kind of be able to see what I'm talking about. So yeah, here we go. You're looking at the display of, I'm going to move me over. Oh, you know what? Watch me struggle. Cool. A little bit anyway. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. So you're looking at the top path. Let me enlarge it a little bit more. This is a tutorial. This is the default new install symbol folder. This is how the program wants it set up. When you come in and you buy the game, excuse me, I do a lot of gaming, and you bought the software, you've selected it, whether it's straight off of their site or you got it off of Humble Bundle and you got some of the selections. When you do your new install, this is where it's going to put all of the symbols. This is the default. So we're here. We'll rewind it a little bit, okay? Well, you know what? I'm going to leave it up there. What am I talking about? Symbols, okay? When we go back over to here, all of these little assets here, all of these little things that you're seeing roll by, those are symbols, okay? Those are what we add. Every one of these X's that you're seeing used to be one of these symbols. So Campaign Cartographer, the FCW file says, Mr. Program, I need you to import Bucketwood1 from symbol set SS4, or, you know, we'll go back to my screen so it makes a little more sense. So the program is telling the FCW file is telling Campaign Cartographer to go look for a symbol in Dungeon Set, Mike Schley, Cave, Rock. Okay? There's a line of commands, basically. Oh, that didn't show up really good for you guys. Or it may have zoomed out. Yeah. So there's a line of commands that you're following that go through CC3 that tell the program to take this particular picture of a rock and put it in a particular point on your map in a particular orientation and a particular size. That's the command, okay? So we're going to close that back out and go ahead and go back up. My apologies. But yeah, so each of these symbols starts here. Castles, cities, cosmographer, diorama, dungeon, map, modern, other, perspective, template, token, treasury, user. there is an empty folder when you first install and you go into your symbols. Again, you're going to have to find it. Make yourself a shortcut at the start. Symbols to shortcut, shortcut to symbols. You're not going to use it to anything but open the folder. Don't use the shortcut to add things. You just click to open the folder, okay? Cut yourself a shortcut to the symbol. You'll then have something called user. In the user, you then want to add all of your custom folders, okay? And then in those custom folders, you add all of your custom art, symbols, whatever you want to call it, okay? The variation of what you want to use, however you want to set it up. This is where you will organize your symbols into your sets. This is not building a symbol catalog. That's something completely different. This is simply importing PNG symbols and setting them up to where your program will be able to find them and use them. As long as, now, so this is what I learned the hard way. I was putting the symbols directly into Dungeon, and then in here, I would build a custom folder into each of my little modules, into each of my little draw styles. Big no-no, way too much freaking work. Number one, I wasted a lot of work in the old days. Number two, I killed my own pathing. CC3 Plus wants you to make your own stuff, wants you to use your own stuff, and gives you places to store them, and it wants to look for your custom stuff in those places. Just, it's very, very simple. Make sure that you're entering your new art assets into building your folders into the user directory, okay? This is all default. Now, the Tome of Ultimate Mapping explains a little bit better, but Pro Fantasy, the CC3 Plus is kind of hidden. If you go look in your C drive, whatever drive you put it in, you're not gonna be able to just look for Campaign Cartographer and find it right off the bat. It's hidden behind a couple things. There's a couple directions. It's not like secret, anything. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like 2 or 3 clicks that you need to do to find it. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not super intuitive either. It's not like you can just open it up and go. So anyway, symbol tokens will break if you don't make sure you set them up in user. Okay, this is what it is. Just for fun, I have a duplication of my old, well, I think I showed you guys that, the DD object sorted thing. So this was basically a copy from that folder that I talked about that I'd stuck in the dungeon symbol. So now, if you are super duper duper careful about it, and you can make sure that every one of your paths and every one of your names is the same from your old install to your new install, hypothetically, you should be able to pull that folder out of where it was and put it into where it needs to be. If I would have used the user folder when I first started CC3 Plus for my custom stuff, instead of shortcutting it all to hell, I could have pulled that folder straight out of the users on the old install, dropped it in straight into the users on the new install, and probably avoided a lot of the line X of hell, okay? So just a little bit of advice for y'all as you get into CC3, whether it's a new install, whether it's a reinstall, whether it's a upgrading to a new machine. Pay attention to where you're hiding your symbols. Make sure they're going to user. Make sure your folder names match. That's going to line up with your path. If any part of your path gets broken, if any part of your path changes, and I'm not even going to swear, I'm not an expert. I don't know, maybe going from Windows 10 to 11 changed some registry, and even if I did everything I was supposed to, I'm still borked. I don't know. That'd be something that maybe if I get lucky and a Pro Fantasy expert ever catches our videos, maybe they can pop in and leave us a comment and say this is why. Or not even an expert. If you're just a dude out there that knows CC3 better than I do, jump in comments, man. Let me know. Say something. So, you know, the point of this is to where I am just the tutorial system. Excuse me. My tutorial series is just me, a regular user, trying to help the regular users learn how to use the software, avoid some of the mistakes that I've made, some of the learn the hard way modes I had, and have some fun with it. I am not sitting here saying I'm an expert. Nowhere in anything, in any of my videos have I said I'm an expert. I'm just a regular dude learning the hard way. And if you guys are joining me, hopefully you'll learn the easy way by me learning the hard way. Okay, so that's that. So, one good thing, if you can actually, oh, you were going to save. So that was just symbols. Maps, by default, when you draw a new map, according to CC3, it wants to go to your document. So the first thing you do after you start your CC3 install, go to your document folder, make sure that you are opening up, build a new folder, and then populate it yourself. For me, I went ahead and renamed everything according to, this is a new install, so I know my new stuff from my old stuff. And I went ahead and imported all of my old maps into the same document. As you can see, you're looking at all these greens. That's the FCW file. I can't look at that. Well, I can within the software. So this is an older one that did not have any custom art whatsoever, so it actually translated just fine. And I'm going to be honest, this is a super old map. This is before I knew what I was doing with any sheet effects. You can tell some of the stuff is concave, some of it's convex, some of it isn't even very well done. But so a map that was done pure, this is an SS4, symbols SS4 Mike Schley map. No custom assets, no nothing added to it, so it works just fine. And a lot of my older ones, before I learned how to do custom draw tools or importing art, are going to work just fine because there's nothing to the art, there's nothing to the map of what was built in the program. So not all of your maps are going to go to trash. Again, I'm looking at these maps going, oh my God, what was I doing? I didn't know what I was doing back then. And that's okay. Some of these I can actually go through and apply new techniques, sheet effects, bevels, and all that, and make them new. But let's go ahead and go to a newer map. Oh, SS4. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the maps that are saved, not all of them are borked. I use that term loosely. Some of my newer ones, this is an example, this is a bad example. In the past, I've used, I still currently use Campaign Cartographer 3 as a virtual tabletop. So what this map is telling me, somewhere along the line, I had actually imported the background of, you know what, why am I moving that? I can move the map, sorry. But yeah, I had actually, I'll import a background into the map, a PNG into the map, put it on as a background, then add tokens on top of it so you can play with it. But all of those are gone because of the pathing issues, because of all that. So I'm doing a lot of grumping here, but I'm also trying to kind of help you guys as you play with CC3. Understand that flexibility can be a bad thing. You can make the program pull symbols from places that it normally doesn't want to. You can make the program store things wherever the hell you want it to, even if the program doesn't necessarily want it to. But when it comes time for a new install, when it comes time for CC3 to do what it's supposed to do, the way it's supposed to do it, if you've got in there and played with stuff and moved custom files around, you're going to pay for it later. I probably would estimate about 60% of my actual map files are 50%, if not more, destroyed. So it's not the end of the world. I just get to restart. I get to build new maps. Some of them are salvageable, some of them are cleanable. But now, not all bad. The single biggest issue is the symbols. One thing that is really cool, though, that I'm going to show you is, let's go ahead and do a new symbol, a new map here. We're going to go to Dungeon. I'm going to go to SS4. If you were following me previously, you saw that you were with me on my beveled thing where we were working on a desert map, right? Trying to figure out, how do you make sand dunes? How do you make kind of natural undulating curves? And we played with the beveled lighting to achieve that. So, just so you know, out of everything I finished saying, Campaign Cartographer is trying to put this map in debris. That's the last thing I physically looked at, so that's what it thinks I want to do. Don't pay attention to where your map is going. If you're looking at stuff and then you start building a map, it's going to try to put the file in the wrong spot. it wants to go into CC3. You know what? We're going to go test quick 2023. And hit save. All right, so this is just your regular old map. I'm going to draw a couple little shapes on it. We'll go sand. And we'll go sand here. Okay. What are we doing? Well, ooh, let me zoom out a tiny bit on the stream as well. My apologies. You know what? That's good enough for amateur work. So, ooh, that color's really bad on that. Too bright. Anyway, that's okay. There's sand, dirt 1, 2, 3. So we've got sand here. If I kick on my effects, activate sheet effects, it's going to go to the default effects. All right. If you were with me a little while back, I go look on this and I'm like, oh man, this really sucks. All of that work is gone. Okay. Well, let's relax for a second. We're going to go and we're going to open that old folder, if I can find it. Old map imports. I want to say it was in quick battle maps, date modified. Desert Test 2 SS4V2. It's Desert Test 1. Let's go to Test 1 because that was the one that kind of looked really cool. Yeah, we'll save changes. See, right now it looks like butt, right? So I come to here and we hit activate sheet effects. And you see here in, oh, you can't see it. Let me do a better job of letting you see it. When this map loads, you'll see where it says Effect Preset Desert Custom 1. That means the settings that we had built on this map, even though it was an old install, completely different computer, the draw tools are still present on this map. So when I activate the sheet effect, everything clicks in. I don't have to rebuild any of that stuff. The map comes in nice and pretty, and the dune effects are there. Man, I got to work on my lighting a little bit. Some of this output's a little brighter than what I'm used to, so some of my effects are washing. I apologize. But anyway, so they're there. So more than that, I can go to, once they're active, I can go to New, and I can say Desert Custom 2, and hit OK. And hit Save, and hit Apply, and hit OK. So why are we doing that? Let's go back to the map we just started a minute ago. Yeah, no, I'm trying to do things old time versus new time. We're working 2023 test quick, test desert, hit open, and save changes here. Yeah, okay, so why did we go through all that trouble? Take it back here. Well, I'm going to go here. My sheet effects are active. Well, let me move that. You're not able to see that really well, sorry. I like zooming in because you can see better, but I just got to be more cognizant about presenting. So I've hit active sheet effects, and my presets are down here. So I can go to Desert Custom 2. Desert Custom 1 is when I found out it works. Hit, and it's going to say sheets missing out of the current drawing, kind of back behind my face there. Let me see if I can switch. Well, anyway, so it's going to want to add the sheets. It's a little dialog window that will appear. We're going to hit yes, and it's going to suddenly populate all the sheets that I added. As I've told you before, and this is a demonstration of it, the order that you put your stuff in determines where it's drawn. So it's going to add all of my custom stuff to the very bottom. So I'm going to move hill to outside. You know, I did it the long way. I want all of these to go up, so I'm going to just select all, move them up. It says move up, that actually means move down. The top of the list, the very first item will be the first thing drawn. The bottom of the list will be the last thing drawn. So even though you're moving up, first to last. So the first thing drawn is going to be the last thing you see. The last thing drawn is going to be the first thing you see. Just keep that in mind. Do it a couple times, it makes sense. Don't get into a philosophical chicken or egg debate based on their wording. Some of the wording that is used in Campaign Cartographer 3 is funky. Some of the things, the language usage is a little funky. I think it's just to make sure that everything works the way it's gonna. We're not gonna get super stressed about it. So, okay. Actually, symbol dress will go down under here. Okay, so I'm gonna hit apply. What does that do? Really nothing right now, right? But if I suddenly go over here, because everything looks the same, let me adjust my drawing so you guys are seeing what I'm talking about. Zoom out a tiny bit, Jim. That'll help too. So if I go to my sheet effects, first thing, always remember you have your select properties. This is one of a life-saving button. Use it. You'll have your floaty box that tells you what you're about to do. Real quick, when you first install, there's the chance that that won't be there. So you need to go to your options and make sure that you go to display floating prompt and expanded text. I'm going to check this real quick and show you what I'm talking about. So now when I click on my properties, it's selected, but it's not telling me what I'm doing. At the bottom, and let me kind of move the screen a wee bit. You'll see that select entities box. Let me zoom way in so we can focus on that box for the briefest of moments. That blue text tells you what your cursor is about to do. That blue text tells you what anything in the map is about. If you know how to read it, the command prompt, like I said, I click on it, select entity, blah, blah, blah. So I personally, I like seeing what's about to happen with my cursor. So I'm definitely of the mindset. So I was kind of screwed up when I first turned CC3 on and everything was gone. Had to dig in through the Tome of Ultimate Mapping, which is a nice resource. It's worth the $15, y'all. If you're messing with CC3, go spend the $15. Unless you just are one of those people that cannot read and despises reading and will not learn from reading, don't touch the book. It is thick. It is a very textbook style, but man, it's full of useful information. I think I tried my last demo, my last tutorial. We actually went into the tome. I want to be as accurate and as educated as possible, so we're using the tome through these tutorials as well. I recommend picking up the Tome of Ultimate Mapping, keeping it on file. Guess what? Once you buy it, it's like, oh, I don't know, it's a pain in the butt to use it. No, it's not. You click on Help, you click on Tome of Ultimate Mapping, and the program takes you right to it. You don't lose a spot on what you're doing. You look at where you were last time. Tome of Ultimate Mapping is a great resource, but damn, you got to be okay with reading. And it's built around a tutorial style, so you got to kind of work through it in a certain way. But it's useful if you do. Promise, promise, promise. So, enough. I'm not a employee of Pro Fantasy. I'm not they're not a paid sponsorship. I'm just a big fan of the software. I'm a big fan of the publishers. The people their team is very responsive, very interactive with your customers. So just so you know, I have published with one product with them, but they're not paying me to do this shit. This is me saying, if you're going to use this software, spend the time, spend the money, get the resources, and do it right. But if not, you can still do whatever you want and learn the hard way. So anyway, we're back to my tooltips are on. Select entities to change properties. I'm going to select all three of these. I'm going to go to my sheets. And just to see what happens, I'm going to add them all to Dune 1. I'm going to hit apply. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Activate sheet, Dune 1, apply. Did I not select it right? Let me select them, go to do it. Click sheet, Dune 1. Bring it to cave background, hit OK. All right, lo and behold. So we had this problem when we were playing with it. You've got to work with your numbers on each of them, and as you zoom in and out on your map, the textures will draw the way they're supposed to. But wasn't really trying to build a map, just trying to simply show you very quickly that the maps that you build, the FCW files that you're building, contain any of the custom draw tools that you made. So don't panic on that. Sheet effects, let me rephrase that, contains any custom sheet effects. If you used a custom bitmap draw tool, it's gone. If you used a custom any sort of that, there was a setting that I learned about way later, and I'm just going to throw it off. We'll figure it out when I get to the point, the tutorial where we build custom bitmap tools. I'll show you where to store them and where to save them. That way you can carry them onto your next install. I completely blew that one, y'all. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. As I've described, I've been using Campaign Cartographer for a little over 2 years now. You saw some of my FCW files were dated from 20 and 21, so I'm not bullshitting you. I'm new to it. Actually, it was 20 because, or it was 19 because I had to do a reinstall. Second reinstall, learn the hard way mode, right? But been at it for 2 years. Add stuff to it the way I want. Make it work the way I want. It's only been the last probably 6 months, maybe 6 months, that I've gotten serious about the software. Instead of forcing it to do what I want to, instead of it taking a hammer and banging on the software and banging on the files and banging on it until it does what I want to do, which it will. This time I'm trying to learn how to work within how it's supposed to for better workflow. So get your ultimate mapping. If you did download, when you download it, download all of your guides, download your starting guides. Every single one of them is going to contain a nice little tutorial for you to walk you through a couple basics within that within that template, and then even within that style. So, man, use the documentation. And if you don't, it's okay. Just be prepared to learn the hard way. But anyway, so yeah. Your sheet effects are imported based on your map. And once you import them from an old map, you can then save them as a preset again. Here, I'm going to do the same thing because my DD3 is empty right now. So I want to go to a old map import, FCW, CC3, complete maps. I think I've got some incomplete that I might want. No, I don't. Dungeons, where'd they go? Multi-use prep. Most recent DOMM, nope. That's a PV, so that's broken. PRPV, those are all, everything in that folder's kaput just because of my use of PNGs as the background. So where's my DD3? Forested Ruins. Oh, okay. Let's try that again. Oh, that's gonna make me sad because that was a nice map. Old import, quick battle. Desert test, Forested Ruins. Yeah, we'll bring DD3 V1 in because I think that's actually got some. So what are you doing, Jim? What are you doing, geezer? I'm bringing in another map. I know it looks like a little kid. It looks like an old 1980s camo jacket type thing, old army green. What's the point of this one? Well, this was one that I hadn't finished out with all my custom shit. Or custom symbols. It was merely in draw tool stage. So when we hit the effects, I want to hide the grid so it looks a little bit better. Where's my grid? Hide. So why am I pulling this one in? Because I have some draw tools in here that I like. And rather than building them all from scratch, this is a work in progress map. I'm building a series of forested ruins to line up with, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the ruins of Mithranor, an old school, super gigantic fallen elven city located in the Dale lands of the Forgotten Realms. Huge city, just almost like an endless ruins thing. But, you know, you always want to have a goal when you're working. So, this is all together. I've got outside 2, 3, 4 floors, 2 floors upper. I've even got my hill bevels built in. I've got everything that I like on this one. So I want to call this a new. I'm going to call this DD3 Custom 1. I'm going to call it Outdoor 1. You know what? I type like I'm doing a freaking file. Just, it doesn't have to be a file. Make it nice and easy to find. Custom Outdoor 1, save. So now this file is saved. This drawing style that was brought in from an old map has been applied and saved in a new map. What does that mean to me? Once again, let's demonstrate it. We're going to open a new map. We're going to go to 2023 where we're supposed to be. And let's just do Ruins 2023. There's nothing there. Okay, so let's start a new map. File, new. Save changes, yes. Dungeons, we're going to go to DD3 because that's what we're using right now. There's a lot of other stuff. I did upgrade during my reinstall. I went ahead and pulled up some of the annuals, and hats off to Sue Daniels. Her art style is freaking greatness. I've been a big fan of DD3 for its flexibility. I've been a fan of Schley because of its real nice rustic hand-drawn look. But now I'm a huge fan of Sue Daniels' work. Her forest trail, her ice caverns, and her creepy crypts. Probably very, very attractive style and very versatile. You can mix it in with SS2, with DD3 without it looking out of place. Love, 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 love her art style. But we're going to go to DD3. We're going to go to 200. We're doing demos. 1090, that's huge. Next map up. Go with a light dirt just so we can see what's going on, even though it looks yucky messed. All right. So we're going to go to Test Quick 2023. DD3 Outdoor Test 1. And hit save. All right. So I'm going to drag the screen around a little bit real quick so y'all can see what I'm talking about. When we open, actually I don't even need to do that because my bad. When we open up the, let me zoom in just a wee bit. Sorry guys. I know it's like, dude, this dude don't know what he's doing. You're right, I don't. I'm trying to learn. But when we're here, you're looking at the sheet effects. You're looking at literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 default effects that come with DD3. Outside doesn't do anything. Outside shadow gives you a little shadow. Floor gives you half of the effects don't even have the sheets don't have an effect applied to them. That's okay. When I first started drawing with this style, I did not like DD3 because it didn't do anything. I didn't realize at that point that this is by design, kind of. This gives you so much flexibility to add shit. What are you talking about, Jim? Okay, well, this is a blank-ass map. We're not looking at anything right now. That's okay. The first thing I want to do is activate sheet effects. I'm going to go into the preset. I'm going to look for my custom, what did I draw? What did I call it, y'all? DD3 Custom Outdoor 1. And it's sitting right there. You can't. So we're going to scroll on down, find DD3 Custom 1. They're all alphabetical. Click on it, and it's going to say sheets missing in the current drawing. Symbols low, top dress, floor 3, floor upper, outsides 2, 3, and 4, rubble layers 1 and 2, symbol mask, taller walls, floors 2, symbol medium, floor mask 3, and hills. These are all added sheets and modified sheets that I put in on that old drawing. Do you want to add the sheets? Hit yes. Boom. So don't throw away your old maps when you're going into your new install, especially if they're functional, especially if you got good draw tools. Even if the symbols are jacked, if you know that map had some good sheet effects to it, pull it into your new program, pull it into your new install, hit your sheet effects, and then rebuild and just copy them over. Build yourself a new custom sheet effects. So at least the hard lifting of getting all of your blur, getting your bevels, getting your lighting, getting your shadows, getting your radius, getting your fades, all that stuff that you've been doing is still intact in your FCW files. So pull a few of those in that you know are important, that have the effort. Simply activate your sheet effects, make a new copy, and you've reproduced those sheet effects within your new install of CC3. If you are careful with it, and I'm not going to try to do it, I'm just speaking, technically you can do the same thing with symbols to build particular catalogs. We'll get to that in a little. I'm not erase everything I just said. I'm not even go down that because that's I failed to forgive me for mentioning. It's a cool trick that we'll get into later when we build a custom symbol catalog. We're not doing that right now. All we're doing is what do we do when we're doing a new install? What are we looking for? What are we not looking for? What are the mistakes? What are the pluses? What are the minuses? That's all we're kind of talking about right now, right? Can I minimize that and it gives you guys a better view of it? I doubt it. That's okay. But anyway, so yeah, pay attention to your install when you put your symbols in. When you put your symbols in, make sure you're using the user folder that's given in the symbol folder. See, Pro Fantasy put it there for a reason. They want us to put our stuff there so the path goes through there as a normal thing. You might think you're doing yourself a favor by putting all of this crap on your let me close this map. Yes, we'll save. And we're going to go back to the Jamble. You might be thinking you're doing yourself a storage favor. I'm going to keep all this stuff is so heavy, this stuff is so dense, I'm going to keep it all in an external drive and just work off of that. Number one, it's going to work slow as shit. Number two, if you have any sort of changes, hardware changes, anything, and you mess up any of your pathings, everything turns out with a bunch of red X's. Okay. Use your default. If it's something that you're just testing, go ahead and test it in an outside environment. But if it's something you want to keep, go into the default folder, build it into your users, drop your symbols in there, and you're good to go. Sheet effects are map-based. Once again, sheet effects are all map-based. Whatever effects that you've added to your map that have been saved as an FCW file will then re-import into your new folder. Cool? Or into your new effects, and then you can do your presets based on what you've imported from your old maps. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I've spent the last 2 days muddling, frustrated, grumping about looking at all my maps, going, no, I felt like Marlon Brando. What'd they do to my boy? Some of them I'll be able to put back together. Some of them are just going to have to get buried. But that's okay. Not the end of the world. So, yes, just to reiterate, I know I've said it a couple times, going to keep saying it. When you install Campaign Cartographer 3, make sure the first thing you do is you build your map storage folder in your document. The very first time you open a map or save a map, the very first time, CC3 is going to default to your documents and look for a folder. Make sure you've got a folder for that. When you're importing symbols, when you're importing PNGs, make sure they go into the user folder. Okay? I highly, highly, highly recommend making yourself a shortcut. Where am I at on my desktop, sorry. Make yourself a symbol shortcut. How did I do that? Let's go ahead and demonstrate that real quick, okay? We're going to go to symbols. We're in CC3 new. We're going to file open. Okay. If I go up. Actually, let's do it a different way. Go to your symbol catalog. Right here, all of a sudden, if you click on this little button here to open your symbol selectors, this lets you change between styles, everything else. Just go to symbol, copy address, drop it on your desktop as a shortcut, you're done. Okay? You're using that to access. Don't build in that shortcut because it's a separate path. You're just using that one button to access this folder. Because everything that you need to do, the only thing you need to do, the only thing you got to touch in symbols is user. Don't put it anywhere else unless you're never going to change your installs again or unless you're really good at copying scripts. Now, again, if you're good at scripts and macros, ignore every damn thing I said. You're going to be able to figure out how to do this yourself, but you shouldn't be watching my videos anyway because you're way up here, I'm still down here. So, nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, there are ways to do it. The average user, the Joe Schmo, old man shaking fist of cloud, I don't know how to do it. So do it the right way. Set yourself up in user. So user's been opened up, built my shortcut, have my user folder. Next time when it's time for me to go, all I have to do on a next reinstall is copy this one folder. And then on the new install, when user is up, I open it and I paste it. And all of those little X's, everything goes the hell away. Okay? One simple damn thing that I didn't know because I was too busy doing other crap. I was too busy blunt force trauma, hammer mode. If I do this enough, if I approach it enough different ways, I can make it work. And I did. But it doesn't work now on my new machine. So yes, please, please, please follow your defaults. Let Campaign Cartographer show you where you put your symbols. Bitmaps are going to be kind of the same way. We'll go to here again. We're at symbol. We're going to CC3 plus. You go back to your bitmaps, backgrounds. Oops, sorry. Custom is where you're going to put when you start doing, or will it be tiles? Actually, that one's hidden behind a couple things. We'll find that. But there's a way to where, what am I talking when I say bitmaps? Well, let me just show you real quick. Let me go to my tiles max. And we're going to go to brick. Okay, so all of these little folders here are called bitmaps. Okay? There is the potential within CC3, oops, I keep messing with you guys, to use every one of these tiles as draw tools, like where you draw your fractals, where you draw your circulars, all that. There's about 12 steps that have to go into using this particular pattern as a draw tool. Half the time I get it right, half the time I get it wrong. Now that I'm in a new install, I'll save that for another tutorial. We use the Tome of Ultimate Mapping. We'll go through word by word and turn some of these bitmap textures into draw tools. They can be used as is, as they are, I should say. They can be used as they are as snap tile placements. So if you don't mind going square by square by square, you can use these tiles as symbols. But you can also use these symbols as bitmaps later. But that's getting into something way different. But I just wanted to take a second and show you that there is, in fact, the same thing that works for bitmaps as there is for symbols, as far as storage options go. All right. So we're at about the 40-minute mark on this. I'm going to pause my YouTube stream, and you're going to get my be right back. And we're just going to draw. I did get a new annual set, so we're going to play with that. The 2021 annual from Pro Fantasy came with an underground mapping. Underwater. Underwater. I'm intrigued. So I have never drawn with an underwater style before. I've kind of simulated something fully submerged, but didn't have to actually deal with the shorelines or any of that. So let's just have some fun and draw with it here in a little bit when I get back and see what we can make. But yeah, pausing briefly on YouTube, and those of you that are on my Twitch get to watch. Obviously, the guys that are good at scripting it, programming, are saying, no, I could write this and I could write that. Well, you shouldn't be watching my tutorial anyway. This is super basics. So, but yeah, so enough about that. My Fridays are going to be mostly tutorial, but I also want to have a little bit of fun. So, interview, new install. First thing, make yourself a shortcut so you can access. Do not work through the shortcut. Just use it to access and then drop stuff in. Don't try to build a copy of the shortcut, copy of the folder outside of Pro Fantasy. You can have problems. Pro Fantasy, program files. You can find Pro Fantasy there. Open it up. Oh. You go to CC3 plus, hit your arrow, CC3 plus. You go through, you're looking for symbols. You're looking for users. Drop all of your custom stuff into symbols users, and your symbols will easily be accessible and findable. The paths are easier, won't bust. You can copy, paste wholesale, providing you don't change any names, and you should be okay on your next install. Pull them out of an external desktop folder, pull them out of a different hard drive, pull them out of anything else other than symbols user. You're going to have problems later when you do a reinstall. Okay. So enough of that. I'm repeating myself way too much. Let's draw. Let's have some fun. Okay. You know what? I had just picked up the annuals, and we were talking before my break. I was talking about doing a water map. So we're going to go to new. We're going to go to dungeon, and I want to figure out where that underwater stuff went. It looked pretty cool. It's one of the annuals. Forest Trail, Ice Cavern, annual, dungeon, black, white. Sorry, it's going to take me a little bit. Like I said, just picked up some stuff. Marine dungeon. Yay. Let's see what a marine dungeon does. We're going to go 200, 150. I like what I saw there in the preview there. We're just going to kind of do a beach leading to a shoreline with some stuff, 50 feet off a shore type of a thing. Sand ripple bitmap. I don't even know what this is going to do. This is the first time we're kicking on, so let's see what happens. We're going to go with sandy beach bitmap background. Not multiple. We're not worried about multiple levels. When you're building multiple maps, you can click on multiple levels. It'll give you an automatic macro to allow you to go between if you're moving from a basement to a second floor to a first floor. I usually just build a hotkey myself, but however you want to do it is up to you. Finish. Test quick. CC3 new map storage. It defaults to documents. Where's where we want it to be. Remember, CC3 wants to build into documents. If you force it to save your stuff into an external file, it'll do it just fine. It wants to go to documents, though. And it wants to pull from. Not the end of the world. The FCW isn't as sensitive as bitmap or symbol as far as storage and access goes. PNG, we'll worry about that when it's VTT time. So anyway, we're going to call this Beach Ruins Test V1 and hit save. All right. So let me, oops. So it's defaulting to effects on. And I am going to be running effects off for the rest of this week. The new machine was, man, you don't know how frustrating it is to spend money on a computer and actually have it run slower than your old computer. And that's the reason is the new one, it had 32 gigs of RAM. My old one had 64. New processors better, new video cards better, way better storage. Overall, a better machine, but dude, you're running at half the RAM. It takes some getting used to. So anyway, we've got Sandy Beach. We've got activate sheet effects off. Let's look at the sheet effects. I'm interested to see what we got here. Background sand, adjust hue saturation. Wow, they put some serious effects into their stuff. Marine bedrock, edge fade, inner blur alpha. So that way if you use something on the marine bed, it's going to have a lighter haze, help the water cover it up. Inlay bronze, don't know. Floors marine, glow, color key and glow. It'll key off of the color that you're using. Symbol loose tile glow, shadow. Marine shingle, rough. Okay, now I'm sitting here reading all of these sheet effects off to you. Let me adjust it a little bit so you can see them as well. This is back to episode 2 of my series. The first video I ever did was about sheets and effects, but it was broken for a little bit, so apologies. But yeah, I've touched on sheets and effects several times. This is what makes Campaign Cartographer different. The ability to add, subtract, modify, and create sheets and effects to your heart's content that make the terrain, the items, the symbols and everything, your terrain entities and your symbols really pop and look different. So this is an absolutely massively customized, you know what? Let's go backwards at it. Rather than trying to show you what everything does. Let's draw first and then see what happens. So, okay, we're on a beach. The first thing we're going to want is some water, right? So let's go for ocean water. We'll do a little tidal cut into here because I want the water to be the main thing here. I do enough on land. You know what? We're going to make a little promontory. And I'm going to draw, it's been enabled to draw off maps, so that's good. If it's on curves, anytime you're making a corner, just click a couple extra times to make sure that your curvature stays out of your draw box. Okay, so what does that do? It just puts a funky blue bar. I bet you when we hit this, it's going to go transparent, and ooh, look at how pretty that looks. Now, if you see the outside edge here, oh, you can't really see that over there. So yeah, it's just a transparent effect on the water to allow a bluish hue to apply to the texture, the sand underneath it. So one thing that I don't like, or that you guys are seeing, is, let me delete it and we'll draw it again. See, okay, well, see how it's anything that's close to the edge. You notice that the edge fade was a little bit wonky on it. It looked like it was fading near the edge of the map. So this is way too big, but hell with it. We're gonna change it to this big. So when I hit effects now, the fade is way the heck out here on your shape. I'm sorry. I'm gonna zoom my map out a little bit so you're not missing as much as I move stuff around. Or my screens, my apologies. Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way. Ha 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 ha. One more boop. And that should fit in nicely. Okay, yeah, that way you guys are seeing a little bit more of what's going on. So yeah, you notice now when you look at the outside edge where the blue is, the fade effect, that fade inner, and the transparency ends out there. So when you look at this, you have to I want to kind of help you understand another thing. Right now, and this will kind of trip you out a little bit. As I zoom out, you'll notice that there's still an edge fade effect way out here that matches the terrain that we chose for the background. And I'm able to affect everything the same outside of the map border as I am inside. Your map border area is the visible affected area. An actual mapping area, the program, it's as big as you need it to be. And that's something I learned when I was beveling. When you're drawing a hill, you want to draw the whole hill shape, even if you're only showing a corner of it. It helps you give a natural flow to the terrain. So it's the same thing here. It's a cool, I don't want to use the word trick, but it's pretty cool effect. But yeah, let's go back down to save now. But yeah, just kind of showing you that the space is infinite. Everything that you're dealing with is in relation to your chosen map size. And everything that the program does is going to scale to the map size. The map itself is infinite, or near infinite. It is as big as your computer resources will allow before it crashes. So turn off map effect. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. It's almost lunchtime. I'm going to try to do just kind of a quick dirty map because it is lunchtime. I'm going on a little over an hour now. So yeah, we're going to go to, oops, we're going to move you back in. That way we still have some of the, all right, so map border is in. I know what the sand in the water looks like. I kind of want to put some underground stuff to it though. Oh wow, there's all kinds of nice stuff. You see, I've never played with this one before, so I'm not sure what it's going to do. Let's say there's the continental shelf. So we've got a little bit harder of a rock look there. I don't like that big. I'm going to turn it into a coral ridge. And this is, dude, this is mapping. It may not be what the artist designed it to be. Like marine bedrock, I would believe would be the whole thing, but just with a little bit of clickety clackety and creative juice, I've decided I would rather have it be a couple sections of coral a few feet off of the edge of the water. We'll go off map, Let the fractal do the work. Yeah, that's kind of fun. So we've got some coral. Let's see what else we got. I wonder if we got anything in the vegetation. Ooh, we do have some fancy underwater stuff. I like this. I like this a lot. So I'm going to turn off symbols. Actually, yeah. Well, no, we'll leave it on for now. So this is kind of one of those building off. Let's see where it sits under the water. Oh, it sits above. Ew. I have to say boo now. Boo on you. Boo on you. You shouldn't be giving shadows that. Well, you know what? I don't want to boo yet. It's still early. But I'm really kind of digging the water effects and the artifacts underneath it. So nice and quick, you can draw some of that in. You know, let's draw. Does it give us a floor thing? We're gonna pretend like there's a chunk of Atlantean-esque ruins over here. We're gonna see what that one looks like, and then I'm gonna go down here and repeat that. Because right now, all we're doing is playing. So it didn't want to put that underneath the water. I wonder why not. Let's go to you know what? I know how to do it. I've just got to. So yeah, let's demo it real quick. So I want that pavement to be underneath the water. So the first thing I want to do is figure out where did this stuff end up? What layer did marine bedrock is its sheet and layer is background map. So we're going to go and do change properties, take these and move them to the marine bedrock, which they didn't default to, and hit OK. Now all of a sudden you get the fade effect, you get the water giving it its ply, your edge fade goes in. It looks a little bit cooler. It looks like it's underwater. So let's drop a wall on here and see what happens. I don't even have grid or snap on. That was quick and, you know, just being silly here. We're going to drop a wall there, but I want it underwater. Does it have an underwater wall sheet? Symbols, rubble, land, water, ripples, terrain, flat, walls, ripples, symbols, coral. Let's see what symbols, corals do. Symbols, corals. Let me make sure there's not actually a draw symbol for symbol coral. There's marine, flat, shingle, strand line, desert. All right, cool. Ooh, this looks fun. Let's see what marine weed does. Kind of gives you a seaweed patch. So if you take your marine and drop it, oops, I don't want to change the properties on that. I just want to move it. So you can drop so on here. Let's turn off snap, see what it looks like. And I wonder if I can stack that on top of smaller. All right, so you got your bedrock. You've got some nice little underwater effects. You can drop some seaweed patches and then add to it. You know, this is kind of a fun little symbol set. This is a fun draw style. My team's about to go swimming quite a bunch. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just running a hypothetical. What if you got a wall that goes underwater? I wonder how it's going to handle that. I don't think it will. Unless I can place the wall on a level that is below the water. So let's figure out what the water is affecting first. Marine bedrock, no. Let me find my properties, because we added the water. We didn't. Ripple shadows, bitmap, sheet ripple mask. So if I'm being lazy, I'm looking for ripple mask, sheet ripple mask, Where are you at? How far down the list are you? Okay. And we're sitting here scanning this, looking for sheet ripple mask, because I just want to do one simple little thing and move my wall below that level to see what happens. There it is. All right, so symbol wall is here. As a guy that's used the software a lot, I know what's going to happen. This entire wall is going to be affected when I move it, but that's okay. We're just experimenting. So technically, I'm going to have to draw this wall 3 times to do what I want to do. Basically, the wall that kind of descends into the beach, tops off at the surf, and then disappears underwater. That's what I'm looking at doing. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you what happens if I just change its sheet. No. I don't want to change the sheet. I want to move. Well, I want to make sure it's on symbol wall is what I need to do first. Walls, layer wall, symbol wall. And we are going to move wall under ripple mask. Hit apply. Wow, it kind of did it on its own. I'm impressed. So I didn't have to redraw the wall to the extent that I was concerned I was going to. It doesn't have the best feel to it, but that's okay. So you know what? I'm kind of a big fan of this. We've only been drawing for a couple minutes. We've got a wall. You know, it doesn't look natural. We're just playing right now. It's okay. It's okay. So let's go ahead and do some flagstone, and we'll turn on our snap. What's my grid at 5 by 5? 5 5 snap. Okay, and we're going to snap into here and just draw some brick flooring to give it a little bit of Y here. And now, because I moved the wall to that, my floor, no matter what I do with it, is not going to be underneath the wall. Oh, wait, it will be. Psych. So let's just go ahead and click on this one and move you to floor. Dude, hats off to whoever made this. No, it's not. It's going to be... Where's floor, sheet, floor? There it is. Whoever set this symbol setup did a lot of work to make sure that it actually... yeah, so I'm going to have to do... Actually, I'm going to have to add... wall dry, we'll call it. And we're going to move wall dry down to where it's actually drawn after floor, and hit apply. So now we see, okay, if I want to do if I'm wanting to do what's in my brain, having kind of an exposed piece of ground up here, the first thing is this is on floor. Does floor even have a sheet on it, any effects on it? Let's look. I don't think it does. I want to add an edge fade inner to make sure the sand is sweeping over the edge of the rock. And we're going to go 90% to make it look kind of, 80% to make it look kind of dusty. We'll hit OK, hit apply. So now the rock is the exposed brick, as it were, is faded a little bit. That's what I was wanting on that. So as I was stating earlier, this wall is not going to work both ways. I'm going to have to take a wall, and we're going to go with what the default, I guess. We'll turn on snap. This is where a little bit of practice and skill is going to come in. Turn off activate your sheet, turn them off so you can see your hard lines. We're going to follow pretty closely. Remember, this first wall is going to go onto that other wall layer that I built. And you want to end it right there, hit, go to change property, select that one. We want to go to wall dry sheet. Okay, now it's going to overlap that. So this next wall default, get your snap, turn off your snap, and we're going to hit that, and we're going to assign that piece to the regular wall. And then that way, when we hit our effects, we still have the drywall up here giving it shadow. Oh, I didn't add wall shadow, did I? Nope. Oops, that's on me. So wall 1, When you find something like that, you just go to your other one, honestly, and if you go ahead and copy paste, select all of them, hit copy, go to your wall dry, hit paste, hit apply. They have the exact same effects on both sections of walls. It matches up a little bit better. You have a little bit of a shadow where the wall kind of steps down and falls into the steps underneath the water, so that's okay. I'm happy with that. So yeah, let's continue drawing some underwater stuff here. I like that. What do we got under furniture? Just boat. Yeah, little canoe. Is that set to default size? Nope. Let me just delete that. Set to normal, one size, drop it in, turn it off, make them kind of halfway beached. I'm gonna hit that. Man, that's a serious shadow on that thing. What is our scale on this? We're at 200 by 150, I believe. Okay. So debris. What'd you give us for debris? Oh, all kinds of kind of cool underwater broken. Let's see where it goes if we just kind of drop some pieces of stuff here and there. Will it drop to the sheet below it? Nope, it'll sit above still. There's definitely going to be some sheet manipulation that happens, and that's certainly not a criticism of the software of the build. This is the first time I've opened it, so there might be some things that I need to practice with to figure out a better way to set them up. The intent, the order of draw, things like that. Drawing order, placement. Why'd I put that over there? Now I wonder if some of those could be coming up out of the ground or out of the water up to the surface. I'm just playing with the symbol sets that they came with. Portal, don't need that. Boxes, nothing there. That's a kind of a let me zoom in on this real quick. You've heard me mention the concept of custom catalogs. This is what it is, a catalog setting, okay? Right now, there's not anything assigned to the container and treasure catalog. If there was anything available in it, it would be here. So if I go to advanced, I can display. If I want to find a different catalog and build a catalog, this is part of the way to do it. I can set up pulling things from DD3 or forest trails into a different catalog that I can access through here. That's what you want to do when you're using your custom tools. You don't want to move them within their own user folder. You want to build a sub-catalog that Campaign Cartographer 3 pulls from yours and then into its own. It will save you some search time. So it's a labor-intensive thing that I've screwed up a couple times, but we're going to learn how to do it on a tutorial one of these days. Promise. I got to figure it out, especially I'm on a new install now, right? So anyway, let's continue going through whirlpools for traps. Yeah, that's kind of fun. We'll set you to normal. Like a set of stairs that goes from some step, another step, another step. That makes it look like it's going up a hill instead of down a hill, but that's not the end of the world. We're just checking on symbol stuff right now. Nothing available on door. Oops, I zoomed way out again, didn't I? Yeah. Sorry, draw time with the map. So, nothing there for available items on that. Walls, CA 175. So it's pulling away out of the annual for a connecting wall. Let's see what it gives us. Ooh. I might be using this for other sets entirely, man. This is a hell of a nice kind of a cobble wall look. It gives us a draw tool. And it actually sunk it where it was supposed to. And if you wanted to go with kind of the broken debris wall line, it the pieces seem to support that style, whether you're just dropping in art. Oh, dang, I am impressed, because that's not just that's an actual set draw tool. So it's taking what I'm placing and it's fractalizing it as I stretch it to build the design I want. I can actually adjust angle. Voila. All right, so yeah, this is on the different wall sheet, but that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, we're just kind of playing today. We're not drawing anything for real. We are working with a new symbol style in a new install of Campaign Cartographer. So if it doesn't quite work or make sense, it's not a big deal. But I am a big fan of this beach ruins, water shoreline set. I think this was 2021, the 2021 or 2022 annual, and definitely worth the price of purchase. And I doubt I'll even draw any underwater map. Just that map, the wall tool on its own, is amazing. So, how did I find that? I honestly don't know. I was in Marine. Okay, that's right. So we're in the Marine. Let's figure out how to do that. That's a fun thing for a tutorial. Dungeons, annual. So if you go to your symbol, click on your dungeon, everything that you have as a draw style under the dungeon template is here. So we have Marine Dungeon, we have Marine Dungeon 2. Wall features. So this was in Marine Dungeon 2. So once I opened it up, I clicked on my selector up here that says walls. This goes to a catalog. So even though the beach, the annual for water didn't have its own, it has access to, it has built-in symbol selection catalogs for a couple other things. So I can pull those in, which is what we did to draw all this stuff. It's just, I'm running my mouth to show you how you can get all this stuff. Drop in, ooh, so there's your top of water. I like that. I like that. It says Isle, which means this is going to be, here, let's move that so you can see what I'm talking about. When I was talking about having something that kind of floats at or near the surface. So this has kind of a built-in shimmer wave effect to where the water is breaking against it, I believe. Let's do column regular. What do you do? Yeah, so that's kind of your submerged. And if I take another one on top of it, I bet you I can. Okay, now I'm intrigued, because I like that ability to be able to do that. So we're going to go to debris and go find a regular top column to put there. So now you've got the effect of the water base, the waves rippling around the bottom of the column, and you then have the piece on top of it extending out of the water. That's cool. So we're going to kind of do the same thing here. Again, this is not anything but just playing with maps, generating ideas. So we're going to go, we have that piece there. Let's go ahead and try to match it up. A draw tool is going to be a little awkward, but the main thing we're wanting to take advantage of is the that weird ripple effect underneath. No, I want you to go Walt. Oh, that's right. Okay, so this is where custom stuff, not custom, this is where I have to pay attention. So I dropped the first wall because I wanted that base. I want the second wall to be above it. So remember, I made the sheet wall dry. So I need to use properties, change him to wall dry. That way it sits above the water, gives you the shadow, and allows for that effect. That's the wrong one. allows for the I'm above the water effect to kind of kick in. Hey, that's fun. That's cool. I like this. I really like this art style. I'm going to have some fun building this. One thing I'm going to be really tempted to do is adapt the water properties to a swamp. Because if you have a light brownish, medium brown background rather than the bumpy sand, you can take that color with the transparency and the fade effects that the author's using on the water. And then you have a draw tool for a swamp doing basically the same thing, just that. But a lot of times swamp water is murky, so maybe you don't want this azure coast, clean Jamaican style beach water being fully visible. But okay, yeah, we're sitting here at an hour and a half. Like I said, I was on Fridays. I am genuinely planning on just doing some free draw, picking a style, picking an idea, drawing, and actually trying to, over the course of an hour or two, build a usable, presentable, functional map. This week, I apologize. I literally got a new computer on Tuesday, Wednesday, was doing all the installs yesterday, getting stuff straight, so I figured today's tutorial should be about, this is what your stuff looks like if you screw up too much. So this is what can happen to you when you import old things into your new Campaign Cartographer. Or this is what to expect if you circumvent the directories that are given to get something more convenient or more storage friendly for yourself. Multiple reasons, multiple ways that this can happen and put you in a bad spot. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time and kind of chat with you a little bit about that. Ooh, I see so much. But yeah, we wanted to finish it out. I just wanted to play around with this new draw style, and I am digging it, man. The underwater template is really cool. It's a lot of fun, and I think I'm going to, you know what, next week, my Friday live mapping session won't be tutorial as much as it'll be just drawing. We're going to do something in this style. I'm going to be spending some time with it next couple days playing with it. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, let you guys off the line here. DM Geezer Jim ending another episode of Campaign Cartographer 3 Super Basics. What to do and what not to do on your installs. If you're following me, caught me on Twitch on accident or on purpose, no big deal. Appreciate you. Even if it was for 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Daytime Twitch is always about business, taking care of dungeon mastering, taking care of D&D stuff, building maps, all of that. By night, I play a plethora of games, check my schedule, a lot of MMOs, shooters, all of that kind of stuff. Would love you, have you along for the ride. Feel free to jump in, follow my page, leave me comments, whatever, man. But no matter what, thank you for being here. Same guys, if you're on YouTube, appreciate your time. Like and follow, subscribe. More than that, if you know people that might like this stuff, let them know. Hey, man, there's this crazy old dude that, actually knows some stuff once in a while. And if he doesn't, at least you can laugh at him while he makes some mistakes. Check him out. I'd appreciate that. Share the stuff. Share the love. I have a Patreon page, Facebook page, Etsy page, all of it under DM Geezer Jim. If you want to find any of the stuff that I make, if you want to chat with me on Facebook, if you want to support me in my endeavor, go to Patreon, go to Etsy, follow me on Facebook. But hey, thanks a lot again, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sign out at this point and get on with my day. Happy mapping. Be safe. Thanks for your time.